Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the most important skills you need to succeed as a software engineer in 2020. Now, you're probably going to think that, okay, all I need to do to succeed as a software engineer is to have good technical skills, right? I have to know whatever language I'm using. I have to know it very well. I have to be able to write good code, right? Well, while some of that is true, to really achieve like great success, you're gonna have to do a lot more things than that, right? No one wants to work with like a guy or a girl that are like really good software engineers, then they're assholes to everybody, or you're not gonna be as open to new opportunities if you're not willing to learn new things all the time. So let's just get right into it and let me kind of talk about, in my opinion, what some of the most important skills you need to have are. So let's just get right into it. The first thing I think you need to be really good at is problem solving, right? I think you have to be able to get a new problem because as a software engineer, every single day you're going to experience new problems. You have to look at a problem you have, one big problem, right? You have to look at it, analyze it, and kind of turn it into a ton of small tasks that you can act upon. And then as you complete these tasks, when you're done all of them, the big problem will be solved, right? I think that's the best way to approach problems, and you can honestly like attribute this to a lot of different parts of life to like gain success. But specifically in software engineering, I've had a lot of success with the strategy, and so I if I use this strategy, it makes me a lot more comfortable in these situations where there's a lot of stress or there's a problem that I don't know how to solve, because this will happen all the time. And the more comfortable you get and the more kind of problems like this that you solve, the more success you're gonna have. And this kind of leads me into my second skill that I think you need to have in order to be a successful software engineer, and that's to never try to avoid failure. What I mean by this is that as we're learning software engineering, as we're getting better, or as we're progressing in our careers, there's going to be tons of times where we fail, and you have to understand that as early as possible in your career, because the earlier you understand that failure is kind of inevitable and that it will happen to everybody, the quicker you'll be able to embrace failure and not be scared to try new things, or be scared to do something different because you think it's going to fail, right? The whole point software engineering is to try new things, to have new ideas, and to get really excited about new challenges. And the best way to solve new challenges is in very creative ways that you would have never thought before. And if you're afraid to fail, it'll kind of like limit your creativity, and it'll stop you from doing what you really want to do and reach real success. You have to understand that you have to embrace the failure and not try to avoid it. I learned this from one of my mentors in the past, and honestly, it has changed my life and paved the way for a lot more success in this field that I would have never reached unless I learned that earlier on in my career. The second skill I think is really important to have as a software engineer is the ability and the desire to be constantly learning new things, right? So as software engineers, we're always going to be facing new problems. There's always new technologies that we're using, and you're always going to be working on a different product or a different project as time goes on. Like if you're writing in one language one year, chances are that 2 years down the road, you're going to be using a different language. And the ability to learn new things and to constantly be able to want to learn new things is going to open so many doors for you. Tech is an ever-changing industry, and the more you're open to learning new things, the more new opportunities will present themselves to you, right? There's also a constant stream of new problems that you're going to have to solve with your job. There's never going to be a day where everything's super smooth. There's always going to be some kind of problem that you're going to have to solve. And if you're always down to learn something new, it'll make solving these problems easier, and you'll make your life more enjoyable. So I definitely think that the ability and the desire to learn new things is crucial if you want to be a successful software engineer. And so now, as we end the video, I kind of want to get into the more social aspects of being a software engineer. I think that especially if you're working as part of a team, the most important thing you can contribute is transparent communication. And you can never be afraid to, be honest with your team members just because you think you're letting them down, or if you failed, or if anything like that happens, right? If anything, you hiding something from your team members is kind of worse for the whole team, as opposed to you just being transparent, and then everyone can try to solve a problem together. There've definitely been moments in my career where I've done this, and I've kind of been shy or scared to admit a mistake. But honestly, as soon as you can get past that, you will grow so much as a software engineer. It's a very priceless skill to have. And also, just having humility and never being afraid to ask questions is definitely a priceless skill. Not only are you gonna actually get the answers that you want, right? If there's something that you don't know and then you're too scared to ask anyone because you think it's stupid, like, you're just not going to know the answer. But if you're open to, letting people know that you just don't know something and then asking questions, I think you're going to build a great relationship with your team. And then you're actually going to get a lot more answers, and it'll open the door to more questions and more answers. And then just your whole attitude towards learning will have like this positive feedback loop, right? Because you're going to ask more questions, get more answers, and then you have even more questions. So that kind of like ties back with the ability into and the desire to learn how new things. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and enjoy your coding. Thanks.